For my film critique and analysis, I chose Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. My name is Rihanna Schenck. The synopsis of this story is a woman who lives in New York City and she reaches a midlife crisis where she's very unhappy in her career and her marriage and she's just craving something more. And she gets to the point where she expresses that food is tasteless. And while this is very literal, how she comments that food just tastes bland, this is also very metaphorical in that she's hungry, her soul's hungry for more culture, more experience, more flavor in her life. And so she embarks on a wanderlust around the world where she travels first to Italy, then to India, and finally to Bali. The role of food in this film is huge. As the title suggests, eat, pray, love. Food is a big component of it, particularly when Liz, the main character, travels to Italy. And while food is the main theme while she's in Italy, food also plays a role when she travels to India as well as Bali. And I think that Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of this story, does a really great job of using food to help grow the character of Liz. And it's through these experiences over food with other characters in the film that Liz really develops and grows throughout her travels from Italy, India, and to Bali. There are three themes that I will focus on. The first is community, second is culture, and third is connection. However, before diving into these three themes, there's a larger theme of cultural relativity that I think is really relevant to this story. And as Villarreal comments on in my world, your world, our world, etc., is cultural relativity is an abstract construct that shows the contours of a given culture's version of reality. And it's this last part, the given culture's version of reality, that's very relevant. And Liz experiences this as she travels from each country. And I'll explain the cultural relativity piece further on in this presentation. Going back to the theme of community, when Liz travels to Italy, there's a huge focus on friendship and family and community. And when she first travels to Italy, she's completely over her head. She doesn't know the language. She doesn't even know how to order a cappuccino at a cafe. And she's kind of floundering and really trying to find her way. She befriends a woman named Sophie who reaches out a hand, helps her along, and helps show her the social norms of Italy. And it's through her relationship with Sophie that she develops and grows a larger group of friends who really become her community while she's in Italy. And it's this group of friends who, over sharing meals together, going out for restaurants, sharing wine, sharing pizza, that she develops a deeper friendship. And there's a very distinguished point of growth at the end of her time while she's in Italy. She's out to dinner with this group of friends, and the gentleman at the head of the table starts to order for the table, and Liz stops him and in perfect Italian beckons over the waiter and proceeds to order food for the entire table. And what's really beautiful about this is that Liz is surrounded by her community of friends, and this community is the group who's helped teach her the norms and the social cultures of Italy, and they're able to celebrate in her success of mastering the language and ordering food for the table and really accomplishing a rite of passage. And as one gentleman said, that she's now officially a Roman woman because she's now been able to order food for the entire table. Next, Liz travels to India, where she's really faced with the culture differences between New York and India. And the way that food plays a role in developing this theme of culture is Liz befriends a gentleman who, at first, there's quite a bit of distance between them, But through some encounters, they go to the market together. They share a thumbs up, which is a very sweet Coke-like beverage, and they start to connect and grow together and become quite good friends. And it's through these experiences over food or market experiences that they become quite close as friends and start to open up to each other. And it's through their bonding as friends that they really critique and analyze the difference in cultures between Indian culture and American culture. And this is one of the points in the film where Liz is really working through some of the darker parts of this midlife crisis, and this friendship and immersion in the Indian culture really helps her grow through this and become stronger as she then moves on to Bali. It's in Bali where Liz really learns to connect with people. And it's through a relationship that develops with a gentleman that she ends up falling in love with that she learns to connect and open up to others. And this gentleman that she meets, he really starts to court her and woo her and really encourage her to let herself go and consider love again. And he brings her a hangover cure, or he shares a drink with her at a bar, or he makes dinner for her at his home. And it's through these little encounters that she starts to become more comfortable and safe. And as a result, she feels more confident and comfortable in opening up to others and connecting. And the irony is that as she opens up to others more, the more she feels self-secure, inspired, and happy. I want to take a moment here to go back to cultural relativity. Now that I've gone through the themes of community, culture, and connection, I want to now bring it to cultural relativity and how Liz has these experiences of going to Italy, diving into the version of reality there, and then going to India and diving into the version of reality there, and then going to Bali and diving into the version of reality there. And while each experience was so different and she had such a different learning experience, I think the really beautiful thing is that Liz dove into one version of reality. And as she dove into the next, as she traveled to India, she didn't close herself off and then just experience a new version of reality. She took what she had learned from Italy and brought it with her to India. And then similarly, brought what she had learned in India, brought it to Bali. And by the end of the film, she has grown so much as an individual. And I think Bali is the example of the pinnacle of her growth, as she has had all of these experiences with all different people over all different meals, and she becomes happy and she feels secure and inspired, and her soul is once again full, as she first set out to do. As I mentioned in the beginning, Eat, Pray, Love is a book as well as a movie, and I think the theme of food is very prevalent throughout the entire film, and it really contributes to Liz's growth, and it's a very inspiring story to me, and I hope that this presentation has inspired you to either read the book or watch the film if you haven't done so already. These are the resources I have used, and thank you so much for listening.